emotions are energy, it goes into the cellular level. Study of psychoneuroimmunology, in that field of study, they have discovered all these unprocessed emotions which are stored in our body. It affects our psychology, it affects our immune system, it affects nervous system. Emotional healing is not an option,
Yeah.
and it is not a luxury.
And they are still continuing that relationship. How can they heal themselves?
Conflict or the misunderstanding happens because of the ego that we have, like I'm right, I'm not being heard, I'm telling you all the time, you're not listening to me. Ourself, the way we understand ourselves sometimes is not also right. It's not a easy task, but as I said, it's not an option, it's a necessity.
Today's guest is not only my co-host, but also someone I deeply admire. Indu Kanayan, an emotional well-being coach, is the founder of Second Bloom Movement, speaker, and visionary behind two soulful movements. Manasvi Healing Journey, where she guides women to release emotional pain and reconnect with their true self, and Youth Orators, a unique program that builds emotional resilience and confidence in young people through public speaking and leadership. Across both these spaces, Indu stands for one core message: emotional empowerment. In today's episode, she shares her heart behind Manasvi Healing Journey and why emotional healing is not a luxury but a necessity. Hello, beautiful Indu. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
It's so amazing to have you here. This podcast has been in making for so long, and we are finally here. The day is here.
That's right.
Yeah, so let's dive in.
Sure.
Yeah. So, why do you think someone should heal their emotions? I will start with a basic question.
That's a good question. Let's understand what emotions are. Emotions are basic feelings, and emotions are a moving energy in our body. Yeah. So when we have emotions in our mind, and when we are not processing it, whether, especially with the low vibrating energy like anger, fear, resentment, grief, sad, hurt, guilt, all these emotions, when we have not been processed, in the sense to understand why we had that, what are the triggers, and we haven't processed that, it then goes and stores in our body. The body then, it stores in a body. If you ask like where exactly it gets stored, in our shoulders, neck, shoulders, back, hip, chest, gut,
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Oh.
So, and because emotions are energy, it goes into the cellular level. Right? We get energy from the cells, yeah? So it goes into the cellular level. Like when it's stored in our body, it then comes up as a different physical issues. Now, under the study of psychoneuroimmunology, in that field of study, they have discovered all these unprocessed emotions which are stored in our body. It affects our psychology, it affects our immune system, it affects our nervous system. Now, that's why when we go to the doctor and say, there is suddenly a chronic pain in our body, and then, they do the tests, whatever the medical test that needs to be done, and then they come up with the answer saying that there isn't anything evident that you're going through, like physically there isn't anything, and they come up with the term saying maybe it's due to the stress, the lifestyle stress. And once we hear the term stress, because it's so commonly used, then we then decide, okay, I'm going to do some sort of healing modality, yeah, which is good. You're going and indulging and seeing that you relax it. Now, while you involve in any healing thing, it does really calm your nervous system. It just puts you in balance. gives you the stability, which is good. But still, the key thing is we haven't still processed the one that you have been carrying for so long. That remains in your body.
The emotion.
Yeah, the emotions. Yeah. So, and that's why, when I say psychologically, you have this anxiety, panic attack, yeah, and then in the gut issues like IBS, constipation, and in like autoimmune diseases, all these things. Like, I'm not saying that's the only cause, but that's also the factor that contributes to all
it.
these things.
Yeah.
And so one should, when we say emotional healing, yes, to regulate on a daily basis to relieve the stress, you need to work around on the emotional healing. But the most important thing is for you to understand the root cause and what the emotional baggage you've been carrying for so long. That has to be released as well. And so, in my opinion, the emotional healing is necessary for your mind and body. If we think like, okay, I'm going to suppress, I'm going to ignore that, I'm just going to put it in the past, and you think like, that's going to go right there.
away.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And the book, it says The Body Keeps Score by Dr. Benzel Van Clock. It says clearly, it is stored in your body and it shows up in different forms.
Yep.
And so it is, emotional healing is not an option.
Yeah.
And it is not a luxury. Like when we say these things to people, they say, oh, I can't spend money on this. And they think it's one of the luxury things that, but it's not an option. It's not a luxury. I would say it's a necessity. So emotional healing is necessity for everyone who has been carrying something from the past and you're not haven't processed it yet.
Oh, amazing. Like, well said. I would say we all carry so much baggage from the past.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially as women.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think women in the middle age, do they tend to carry more? Have they accumulated more by that age, do you think?
Possibly. Generally, we say women, we carry from generations. And then when we are, as a kid from the womb of our mother, we could have picked up from our mom. And as a child between 1 to 7, we are so we are like sponge. We absorb everything from the environment and people, what they are saying. So that's where the beliefs, about yourself, everything you get to understand. And if the environment doesn't provide you the clear answers, then you get those mixed things in your in your mind. And as we grow, culturally, we are being told that's how life is. As much as we do agree, like life is not going to be pleasant all the time, but nobody has given us the tool or the education how we can process that.
Yeah.
How to release that, rather than saying, okay, this is how life, I have to suck it up and not going to say anyone. Like in many instances, I've seen like women like, I know I'm going through all these things, but I can't say openly to my family members or to my friends. What if they are going to judge me? The fear of judgment. And also for some, like, okay, I have been in this pain for so long. I know there is an option for me to relieve and be a normal person. But what would happen to me? Like, without that identity of me being in that pain and having that victim mind, if I relieve it, all of that, what is going to happen to me? Like, so they haven't seen themselves what is going to be on the other side.
Yeah.
What's life will be on the other side. And so there is all these things, and that's where I think we are holding up too tight to it.
Yeah.
But if we then give them the education and make them understand and ask them to see like what's the desired life that you would want to be as a person, like not as a life, but as a person whom you would want to be. When they tap into that, they understand, okay, there is a different identity I can look for myself. And so being in this identity is not going to serve me like that, right? And answering to your question, I think the culture, the fear of judgment, and not knowing what's my new identity is going to be. And I think that's where we kind of tend to hold on to it. Not willingly sometimes, but unknowingly. Yes, we do.
We do. Yeah. 100%. I have been there. I
Yeah.
guess you must have
Yeah.
also been there. Yeah.
True.
Is that how your journey started? Like, where did it change for you? Where did you shift your identity?
Well, I have to go back. I think I have been a very emotionally imbalanced person from my childhood. And I didn't realize back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably there would have been opportunities for me to retrospect and see where I am at. Maybe I would have ignored, with
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
with perspectives you
If you
had,
had at
that's
that
where you
time.
would do,
Yeah.
right? And that's when I think the universe then like sees, okay, I've given you n number of chances for you to, change
Change.
and do the better for your life. It's like the when you want to shoot it, the with the arrow, you have to pull it back and then release
Release
it.
it. Yeah.
That's what happened to me because the pain was in such a form where my dad passed away back in 2018, and then followed by that, the separation of my marriage. And then I went into the hysterectomy, physical pain. All these things were irreparable loss. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't, anything that I do, I'm not going to get it back. And then followed by that, in 2020, I lost the job with COVID. I'm like, now what? Come to the rock bottom, like you can't go any further down. And that's when it hit me like, okay, I need to work on myself. All these events happened. All these things I'm talking about just in a matter of 15, 16 months, back to back, back to back, back to back. And that was the time I got this opportunity to get into life coaching aspect, which was not expected, which was not planned. And I think that's where the universe has sent me that, the blessings through all these things.
Yeah.
And the whole of my personal development journey started 2020. And when I started with that, it was not a very planned one that I would end up in emotional healing or anything, because I was healing myself through learning all these perspectives of how I need to be, where am I going wrong, why am I doing this. It was a lot of self learning for me. But because it was a workshop and they wanted me to do pro bonos for others, like the system itself driven me, like, it's okay, you can't stop with this, you have to then
Start it for others. Yeah.
And I think that was the point of time where I understood that I am ready to move out of my comfort zone. I'm not willing to be in the same person. I think that's where the shift happened. And then I learned NLP, practitioner, went through emotional breakthrough method. And that was like, wow, that was again another more than life coaching, like going deeper into the aspects. And with that emotional breakthrough is where I really kind of ripped off the layers of where my emotions were embedded and what I was carrying. And it's only then I was more aware of, okay, why am I like this? Why should I be, rather than me focusing on external validation, how will I validate my own self, and what is that I should be doing for my better living? And even still, I was not into the coaching or more into explaining about emotional healing to others. I was still doing, I was coaching immigrant professionals on communication skills. And while we say about building confidence, we do touch base on the emotional aspects as well.
True.
But I didn't name it like that, but it was more addressing on the emotions as well. And I think as I was healing in my own journey, it was a natural process for me to then I was thinking about, okay, women need this more than anyone else, because in the middle age, especially, the lesson what I learned after my dad passed away is, he had no regrets while he was in his deathbed. Like he was content, and he was telling, like, I'm a good father, good husband. And he had a good of memories with him, like his friends were there surrounded. And after his funeral, I was thinking, would I be able to say that in my deathbed? What memories do I have? And that was a wake up call for me. And so I then, as I was talking to all these women in my, general casually, they all have the emotional baggage. Oh, this has happened. And then they take it as a way of life, but not understanding that that's what coming up and disturbing their normal routine. And they struggle or even to understand these are the things that I need to address more than anything else. And I was just then looking through what are the things that I did for my own emotional healing. And that's where Manasvi healing
Was born. Nice.
Yeah, and that's how I had this 5-hour framework, and everything was born. That's the time it born.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like from personal transformation and learning for yourself and healing yourself
Yeah.
to teaching and healing others.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you do in this 5-hour method? Like, what does it encompass?
The 5-hour is probably I can show this. So the 5-hour, the first hour is reflect.
Yep.
And in this reflect,
If you can show to the camera.
yeah, sure. In this reflect is where we are going to reflect on our emotions, like being more aware of our emotions. So we are not going to judge the emotions. We are just going to address, okay, this is what I feel at this moment. So you're more aware of that emotion. When you label, when you say, when you acknowledge that emotion, then the mind allows you to then move on from there. Yeah. So that is the first thing. And then the second R is release. Release is where we then understand how to let go of that emotions. Now, in our daily routine, for instance, there's something like, especially in the work environment, I'm doing so much of hard work, but I'm not being recognized. And you're triggered. You're kind of anger, upset, disappointed. And sometimes you might carry that for the whole day or a whole week or a whole month, not knowing how to release that. Yeah.
Yep.
So once we acknowledge that, and when we ask a set of questions like, is this emotion that is something that I would want to hold up? You might come up with yes as well. That's fine. How long would you want to hold up? Then when you ask the next question, then you might come up with the answer, or that makes you think, okay, this is not something for me to hold up for so long. So I'm ready to release. Are you ready to release it? The next question. You might say yes or maybe. Then if maybe, when can you release it? Then you get the answer. Okay, right now, tomorrow, whatever that comes for you. Once you ask all these questions, it then helps you to detach yourself from that emotion. This is for the daily thing. Yeah, this is called micro releasing. You can release that then
little
and
by
there.
little.
Yeah.
So you ask these questions, like prompt questions.
Yes.
Through this process.
Yes.
For them to be able to release it.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the release thing.
Yep.
And then comes the rebalance. The rebalance is for you to energetically rebalance yourself, because when we are disturbed, you would have exerted some sort of energy, which is, that's not going to serve you. So you need to be then energetically rebalance yourself, and also aligning that, the energetically balance, and also to understand the situation, how you would want to then go about it.
Yep.
And if it is just an emotional aspect, then we give a little math formula.
Yep.
E plus R equal to O, which is the event or the emotions that you're having, whether you're going to react or respond to it, and based on that is the outcome. Yep. So when you understand this, then you are able to balance yourself, and the way you're expressing is going to be much clearer to yourself and to the other person. So that's the rebalance aspect of it.
Fantastic.
And then the rewire is something more in depth about your values, your story you've been writing. Oh, I'm not good enough, maybe. I'm aiming for this reward. Maybe I'm not good enough. We come up with that, like, with a very short span, we just decide, like, I'm not good enough. maybe that's not for me. And so rewriting your own stories, and how can you do that based on your values and your beliefs. So that's what we address in Rewire. And then reignite. Okay, now is that we have understood, we've reflected, we've released the emotions, we are balancing, coming into the equilibrium, not going high in emotions or low in emotions, and we have now rewired ourselves. What is the next stage moving forward? That's where the reignite is. So the reignite is, okay, going forward, this is who I would want to be. What is my desire for myself? That could be in your career, your relationship, your health, financial goals. It can be anything. How I need to then be that empowered person by reigniting myself, the new identity that you would want to hold. So that is the 5R. So basically, yeah. So Manasvi is the way I have curated is based solely and purely on my own personal experience and the journey I'm traveling. So first aspect is moving away from the pain, and then moving towards your desired life. So some of the times when we just only address the past pain, and we are not moving towards, you're kind of lost in between.
Yeah.
And that is the time where you can then go back into the old patterns.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of a whole transformational process right from the start till where you would actually want
Restart
to.
again.
Yeah.
I understand, because I think if you focus only on the releasing from the past and don't have a direction forward,
Yeah.
then you kind of get lost and may go back to that victim again.
Exactly.
Because that's the story I have known all along. So it's easy to fall back.
Yes, exactly.
Isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. And also, Indu, I really found that formula that you told me,
E plus R
R equal to O. Probably we should have made a card for that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll show that in the show.
Yeah.
That was really good. I have been applying since you taught me that.
Right.
Yeah, every time I'm like, okay, am I going to react?
Yeah.
Or am I going to pause and respond?
Yeah.
So that was really good.
That's true. And I'm pretty sure this is somewhere I learned from someone, but from my memory, it just stayed with me, and then I apply that every time, and that's good. It's helped you as well.
Yeah, you did. You did. So when you are addressing people who are struggling to move on from the past, let's say the past is behind them. For example, that person could have gone through a separation or divorce, or like, let's say toxic parents or whatever it is, like, work environment hasn't been great, or whatever it is, they have moved away from it, from the past scenario.
Yeah.
How can they heal themselves?
As I said, they would have moved away from the situation or the person, but have they actually processed that emotion that they are holding on? And what happens is, when we are holding on to that emotions, whether you're saying it loud or you're neglecting it, or what happens is, we are so disconnected with ourselves, that part of our thing is, we get disconnected. And the only reason is, I would have to quote this. I learned this from Michael Beckwith. There is a 4 levels of consciousness, and he talks from the spiritual angle, but I took it as a emotional consciousness. Now, the first level is the victim level consciousness. In this victim level consciousness, you're feeling numb, you're disconnected with yourself, you are having this high, heavy emotions in you. And so sometimes we suppress that, but having said that, it can flare up anytime. In this victim level of consciousness, that's what happens whenever we have been suppressed or been controlled or been told not to do. And when we have not addressed that victim consciousness is still there in us. And it would show up in different aspects of our life. And so for them to then address that, use the 5 hour method. Do the reflection, like what happened in the past, why are you holding it so long, and is there a better way that you can release it. Once you do the process, and then we move into the empowered state of consciousness. That's where you kind of take control of your life. And where you're doing what you're doing, like you're applying your decision making, you're become more intuitive, and you're doing all of that. And there would be a stage where you would ask yourself, okay, then who am I?
The big question.
The big question, what is my purpose? And that is the elevated level of consciousness. And in that elevated level of consciousness, you will then go deeper in yourself and understanding where you're coming from, what is your, how you're talking to people, the way you communicate, what's your behavioral pattern. Everything you will then revise and revisit it. And then comes the oneness level of consciousness, which is like you are no different to others, and you're not here to prove anything to anyone. There is no pull and push energy. You're becoming, that the utmost
aligning
peace.
with the one.
That's right. Aligning with your higher self and being just you. Now, answering to your question, how one can heal themselves going through whatever that has happened in the past, if you would just reflect for the moment, are you still playing the victim role? Or where have you moved from that event? You may not be in that event, but where is your consciousness level? Once you understand that, then you make a decision. Am I going to sit in this like this? Because especially when we are focusing on middle-aged women, how much time do we have left in our life?
In our lives, yeah.
Why is that you are wanting to hold on to something or be a victim of anything or anyone? You have the capacity. Everybody has got the capacity, potential. And so we need to then decide, okay, I am going to step into the best version of myself. Once you make that decisions and intentions on your mind, the path will come, the healing path. You can take any modality, like whether that's Manasvi healing or there is flower therapy, and then whether yoga, meditation, whatever it is. But all these things, methods, if they are addressing your past emotions and taking you away from the victim energy, then the healing process has already begun. And there is no right or wrong, because every healing is not going to be a straight line. It's going to be messy. You would see yourself progressing, and then you might be coming back again and playing that victim thing. But once you've started the journey, in my experience, although you're going to and fro, you're still moving forward. You're not stuck. So answering to the question is, they need to understand which energy or emotional consciousness level they are at, and then make the decision and decide to move from.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Definitely. Our healing journey is very much a zigzag journey. It's not straightforward. But I guess awareness is the starting point.
Absolutely.
I actually have a twist of the same question, which I would like to address with you after a short break.
Sure.
Today's episode is sponsored by Sujanya Rajan Iyengar. She is an anti-inflammatory physiotherapist, and she's also specializing in nervous system. And if you are struggling with chronic pain, stress, or tension in your body that wouldn't go off, you need to see Sujanya Iyengar. She blends science-backed therapies, like, for example, tension and trauma release, craniosacral therapy, fascia release, breathwork, lymphatic drainage, and much more. Actually, I have personally benefited a lot from seeing her. I used to have chronic neck and shoulder pain, or over the years I have had so many issues in my body. As we all age, I have aged as well, and then whenever my body needed a repair, I definitely go to Sujanya Iyengar. And her approach is a very gentle approach where it helps the nervous system to reset, restore, and heal. So, if you would like to heal, incorporating other modalities along with the traditional physiotherapy, please see Sujanya Rajan Iyengar, and I have linked her details in the show notes. Welcome back, Indu.
Hi.
Hey. The question I was mentioning about, before the break. Let's say someone who is living in a relationship and they are still continuing that relationship. How can they heal themselves? Because sometimes they may not be able to do that. They may be thinking they are a victim, or they could actually be a victim as well.
Yeah.
So, how does someone rebuild their life if they are in that situation? They can't move away from that relationship. They don't want to.
Okay.
So, how do they go about it?
Okay, so if the choice of the individual is to stay in the relationship, and at the moment their relationship is not in a best form, but how they can heal their emotions and stay within the relationship. Okay, so let's understand why the conflict or the misunderstanding happens in a relationship. Like, given a relationship that could be in a family, not necessarily the spouse, but predominantly that's what we refer to. But that could be with your parents, that could be with your kids, that could be with anybody. Why does we have the conflict in a relationship? Because that majorly it's because of the ego that we have. Like, I'm right, I'm not being heard, I'm telling you all the time, you're not listening to me, I'm giving you all these things, I'm putting a lot of effort in this relationship, I'm not getting anything back. And so we then start to blame. Okay, you're not, I'm playing the victim role. I'm doing all these things, but I'm not getting the right response. And so you're not listening to me, you're not there for me. We blame the other person. And that's how then it blows up and goes into a different form. So that's the start point. Now, addressing to this is, let's do a simple thing. Understanding of ourselves, the way we understand ourselves sometimes is not also right. Yeah. And because it's like this. So when we are supposed to have water for thirsty, we tend to eat, because we are not understanding like what exactly is happening in our body.
Yeah.
So when we feel that emptiness, we go and eat. Maybe that is something to work on our mind and not to eat. So most of the things that we do, not necessarily we are completely aware of what we are doing.
Yeah.
And especially in a relationship, the other person coming from an entirely different background, the perspective, everything is different.
Their
So
upbringing.
yeah, their upbringing, their understanding, their way of showing the expression of love or communication is different. So what can we do? The best practice, I would say, to put yourself in the bird view, where you are not being you, just seeing that individual and the other individual. Now go to that scenario and see what these people are conversing. When you put yourself in that perspective, you will definitely understand what are the mistakes that we are committing and what is that they are trying to do. So we will try to understand these two perspectives. And once that is there, then the next time when such events come, you would definitely apply this. Okay, probably the other person is saying this. It gives you a little window of understanding the other person's perspective. Then for you to work on the relationship, first heal what is the wounds that you have in that relationship. Like, I'm not being heard, I've been pushed back, I am not given the importance. So when we say importance, it's not seeking significance in a relationship for no reason. Like, we feel like we are privileged, like, oh, I deserve this. Why is that I'm not getting that? So all these imbalanced emotions and egos are not helping you or helping that relationships to go strong. So work on yourself. So be more aware. The first step in the 5 hour, reflect.
Yeah.
You either write what the emotions are, do the journaling, whatever that's best suits you, or even sitting in silence, reflecting, or even when I say sitting in silence, is more of shutting that inner talk. Because we tend to say our stories repeatedly, and that becomes the story, the way we say it.
Yeah.
And it may not
And
be
that becomes
close to
who
the
we are.
reality.
Yeah.
So sit in silence, not thinking of anything. When your thoughts go into that event, pull you back to the current state. And the more you dissociate yourself from the past events, it then becomes a mind memory, or you're strengthening that muscle where you are dissociating yourself from those events. That's not going to help you. So the only way we are not going to rewrite is detaching ourselves, whichever way that suits you. Either you're writing a journal and putting it there and closing that chapter off, which is good, or asking the prompts, as I said before, like, okay, am I going to hold on to this emotions? Am I ready to let go of this emotion? If so, when?
Yeah.
That would help you to dissociate yourself from that. And then sitting in your silence is just that you're not revisiting and keep on telling that story back again.
Yeah.
And that would help you to then work forward, or the healing methods. Yeah. And then as I said, to release, you can use the come to Manasvi healing and work through what are the pent up emotions you've been holding up for so long. Release that. Or you can look for any other modalities as well that would help you to do. But the best, what is the thing is, when you're working on the release, see to that it is not just to soothe your nervous system, to calm you down, rather than you address the root cause of the emotions where it's coming from. So once we do that, be in the proximity of people, like in the process itself. Like if you don't know, okay, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to start from, rather than talking through to the friends who may not have the better solutions, find people in that proximity where they are working on themselves, not necessarily in the relationship aspects, but working on themselves, like
Find your tribe.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Find them and create good networks. So then you are not alone in this journey, although we have to heal our own our own emotions. But you will now know, okay, they have
Done
much
this.
more. Yeah, they've done that, and their story can be much worse than what we
Yours.
are facing.
Yeah.
So we then we learn to appreciate what we have. That helps as well.
It gives us hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is the next thing. So do the reflection, work on the healing aspects, and find the tribe, the proximity, and then while we do all these things, you're not in the same energy level as where you had this the oscillation of your emotions, or it's
The
not that.
relationship conflict is,
Yes.
it's not the same energy.
It's
Yeah.
not the same level. So as you're working on to your with about with your inner self, the other person's she sees the shift in you. Two things are possible. One is the frequency in where you're having this stiff
Butting the heads.
yeah, that would reduce, the intensity will reduce. And the second thing is, and then the next best thing that could happen is the other person will then try to mirror you as well. There is something we call mirror and matching in the conversation, in communicating. Yeah, so the mirror and matching, they will try to then start mirroring you, because in a relationship that happens a lot. And once they mirror you, what you're doing, they are going to adapt whatever the healing methods that you are going through. And so that's going to be, that could be one of the outcome. But in the worst case scenario, they are not doing any inner work and they are being them and you have done all the work. Now you've got the knowledge and wisdom to then better decide how you want to take this relationship further. Yeah, so that is the best approach, I would say.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that it very clearly defines, like, how they can go step by step
Yeah.
and still focus on themselves and heal themselves
Yeah.
while continuing in that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can add to that, when,
Yeah.
as I said, when the relationship, it can be with anyone, right? When after I separated, I was working on myself, and that's how the journey started. Now I'm with my son, and now he sees, like, I've done the inner work, I'm doing the inner work, and it's I'm not saying like I've done it and I'm in that
All
top
fully
level. Yeah,
healed. Yeah.
it's always work in progress. Now he is now paying more attention to his emotions, where he's at, and he started to reflect. And I think that's the good way to lead. So it's through my personal experience as well.
Yeah.
And so
You are modeling what you are preaching.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe that is a very natural process. It would happen. So the more the individual work in a family, in a setup, in an environment, the other person will pick it up eventually.
Surely.
It's just that we need to give space for ourselves.
Yep.
And space for the others. In that space is like, don't blame each other. Or I did this, that's why it happened. Or I was soft and that's why it happened. Don't beat up yourself. Don't blame each other. Just work on your inner self. And the more you give that space and hold that space for yourself, the healing is a very natural process, and it takes you to a better place than you have imagined for yourself. So
that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. Is that what which will help Indu? Like, let's say someone is in a bad relationship and they want to heal themselves. They say all that, but they are not ready to do the inner work. So
Yeah.
is that what they should do?
Yeah, but again, the saying is different from doing, right?
Yeah.
They say like, yeah, I want to do this, do that. I would want to do that, but are they really committed to it?
Yeah.
Because self-commitment, you're not doing it for anyone else.
Yeah.
It is for you, and it is a scary thing.
Yeah.
In all honesty,
Yeah.
healing ourselves means it's not like you're applying a cream, external cream. You're doing the inner work.
Yeah.
And because of the suppressed emotions, and we have not just the emotions, the thoughts,
fears. You're facing your fears.
Yeah. So everything that's going to address, it might come in a different form and shape, and that might be really scary. So healing is not a easy task, but as I said, it's not an option, it's a necessity. Once we realize that it's a necessity, and you're able to do that messy work, which is going to be hard for any of us, and because there is something like called parts integration. One part of us says, yes, I'm ready to do. The other part says, no, I'm not ready to do. So we need to bring them both in terms. So it is going to be scary, it would be messy, but you need to commit to your own growth.
Yeah.
And that's where they can work on the healing prospects. Yeah.
So let's say someone is committing and ready to grow and change their lives. How does Manasvi healing help? Does it work on the mind level, or what does it address?
Well, that's a beautiful question. Manasvi healing works on the mind level to start with, in the sense of with the 5R that I've mentioned, in terms of reflect, release, because initially it is more predominant in our mindset, and also we all know, like 95% of is a unconscious mind, and we all operate from that aspect, and 5% is consciousness. So we are digging from the unconscious mind, like what are all the things we've been holding up for so long. So definitely reflect and release is on the mind level, and rebalance is on the energy prospect. So it is on the both mind and the body. That's where we go into the qigong aspects, and some breath work as well, to balance yourself. And and then when we move on to the other aspect of rewiring, which is rewriting your story, it adds more of all these five levels of emotions, like what you feel, how you want to see yourself, all those things. So it's more about rewriting your story again from your mind perspective, values, beliefs, even more deeper, setting standards for yourself and creating the boundaries, not just for anyone, even for you. Like sometimes we cross our own boundaries.
Boundaries, yeah.
Yeah. So we are then defining that.
Yeah.
And then, so it is both mind and body. In To just summarize it, we work on the emotional breakthrough method, which is part of the timeline therapy. And then we use the emotional freedom tapping for them to then, like, once they have addressed the past emotions, for them to then work on themselves. What are the tools that we provide is the emotional freedom tapping. So we will tell what to do, how to do about it.
Yeah.
And then the qigong, which is more on the inner energy aspect, and that's a very beautiful method.
Yeah.
Combined with breath work, it gives even more energy from inwards. Like, we don't have to then scroll through YouTube videos for motivation or energy. You can build within
your own energy.
Yeah. And then the soulful thing is, obviously, I think we all are aiming towards that oneness consciousness, where we are not going to fight and prove anything to anyone, just being you. So I think it's probably it'll be more defined in the soulful spiritual aspect, but as of now it's more mind and body. Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. I think even though you are saying it's mind and body, I can definitely see the energy layer and the soulful layer underneath it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it sounds really well considered. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's say if they are committed, they can get started. If they want to get started with you, how should they approach you? What will they go through?
Okay. So with Manasvi, when anyone wants to come into this world and they have no idea about what Manasvi healing, and they've listened to this podcast or through word of mouth, there is a free 5 days challenge. They can join us. And this free 5 day challenge, they will learn a brief understanding about their own emotional awareness, where they are at, what is that they have been ignoring, suppressing, what are the emotions that they are naturally inclined to, and what are the things they have adapted over the time. That would be deep for them, for someone who hasn't been addressing done that work.
Yeah.
And then we also give little tools for them to then how to micro release in their daily life. They will understand what is the story they have been telling for so long about themselves, which is not serving them, obviously. And then what is the future they are looking for themselves? Because most of the time, when we get disconnected and being so numb with all these emotions, heavy emotions, you don't see your future so bright.
Yeah.
So how do you see yourself in the future?
Yeah.
What's your desired life that you would want to live? And once we tap into all these things, that's when they are like, okay, this is something that I would want to do. And this 5-hour healing framework does take you through that, to release the past and to your desired future. And once they are into that the 5 days challenge, they want to take it further, then we have the 6 months actual program that they can involve, where they have a one-on-one coaching sessions with me. So we can go through everything that they have want to release, and to empower themselves.
Yeah. So you'll be holding their hands all along.
Absolutely.
For those 6 months.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And the tools, what they learn from there, that is for lifelong.
True.
Yeah, and once they become the the part of Manasvi healing, there is a movement which I have created, which is called the second bloom movement. The reason being, we think, my first half of my life I didn't do anything. We mostly regret that we have not made the best use of our life. But especially that happens in midlife, and I have felt that too. So but there is always, when you work on yourself, there is a second bloom
Yeah.
that can happen for
Happen.
you.
Yep.
Whatever that you have desired for yourself, that is much more possible for you to do in this lifetime.
Yeah.
You don't have to live and die in regret.
Yeah.
Rather than you can do that. And so that's where the second bloom movement has started. At the
Amazing.
moment, I'm just hosting the flag. Nobody has joined the movement yet.
I'm there. I'm there in your camp.
Yeah, sure. So but yeah, I think that would be so when they come into this world, then they would be part of the second bloom movement.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And you also do something with the kids, right?
Yes, with the kids, it's a different angle to the kids. It's called Youth Orators Academy. Whatever I have learned, so this is part of my vision, actually, Meena.
Mm-hmm.
When I went into the life coaching at the earliest stages, they asked us to write the what is your mission, vision, all
Yeah.
that,
All that. Yeah.
values, and
Yeah.
all that. So my vision was to help the women and children,
Mm.
but it was not very clearly defined as to how I'm going to help them,
Yeah.
but definitely to skill them in some level, life
Yeah.
skills kind of a thing. Because when I was growing up, I don't think I had picked up any skills. That was my thought back then. I'm not playing that victim thing now, but that was the thing back then. I was thinking, oh, I didn't have the skills. I didn't have the understanding of this. I'm not able to handle money. I'm not able to make a decisions. I feel like all these life skills, I was missing things. So I was then thinking, okay, my mission would be, my vision and would be for me to empower the children and the women in some skill form, but the skill was not defined. Now is that we've got the emotional healing for the women. For the children, I started a year and a half before on their personal development. It's basically, I teach them public speaking, where they can build the confidence and express, because I think the expression of speech has to come from there, not fearing that, oh, what parents are going to tell me.
Yeah.
Or what my teachers are going to tell me.
Yeah.
I should not be expressing this way. But you need to express it in such a way that you are not going to suppress it. So the expression has to be without any filters, or there's no blocks there
For them to
so
express,
you
yeah.
just got to express that. So it is more in a different form. It's building their emotional awareness, and the way how they can communicate with them, with others, and to themselves as well. So in this as well, we touch base on breath work. They do box breathing, just to calm their anxiety before they do the speech. They've started with the affirmations. And these kids, like from the age of 6 to 12, they are in the class, and when they talk about affirmations, I'm like, okay, that's really good. Like I've seeded the thoughts in them. So they do the journaling. Yeah, they do all of that.
Amazing.
Yeah. So and I think whatever the skills I have learned, I just want to impart it to them, so they don't have to worry as a child, like, what do I do now? You're already empowered, so there are many things that you can think ahead, rather than working on the foundations. Foundations will be laid now.
So it's not just public speaking. You have given them a backpack full of tools.
Yes. Yes.
So they have got their own toolkit. Life skills.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So now we are coming to the close. I would like to ask you, is there any short 5-minute wellness practice someone can follow on a daily basis?
Okay, 5-minute wellness practice. I don't know whether that will take 5 minutes or not, but the one that I practice and I would tell my clients, if you're anxious about anything, just do this breathing, which is, inhale on the count of 4 and hold it on the count of 4, and then exhale on the count of 6. While you're inhaling, inhale that whatever you want to affirm, saying that I am so and so, I'm good, or whatever the positive note that you would want to resonate for you. Say that, hold it, and when you breathe out all the anger, the temperament, or whatever that is you're holding. So while you're breathing out, breathe open through the mouth and say like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so inhale, hold it, and then breathe out. That you can do. That doesn't
I think
take
5 minutes
much.
should be
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Or even less than that.
that's right.
Yeah.
And then the next thing, what I would recommend them to do is, breathing is for the air, right? I'm talking about another element, water. When we are having water on a daily basis, water holds memory. And this was a study done by a Japanese researcher. His name is Masaru Emoto. And they had done a study based on keeping the water sample in different environments, like with the playing a sound, electrical sound, or talking and affirmations or words, positive and negative.
Yep.
And as they were doing it, they would freeze the water, and they would do the testing on the molecules. When the water has been exposed to positive words like happy, joy, freedom, and all that, the texture of the molecules was spherical, and it formed a good shape. But whereas when they had the negative words and other negative energy that's been passed on, it was very disoriented. And so water, and 70% of us body is consumed of water, right?
Yeah.
So while you're drinking water, set the intention like I'm a free flow of energy, whatever that means to you. Like, you just got to affirm that.
Yeah.
And while you drink that water, that's going to radiate in your body.
Yeah.
And when you do it every single day, that's who you become.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Yeah. I think these are very easy things to do.
Yeah.
It won't take long.
It won't take long. And I think these two, if they do it, that's a good start.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we have come to a close now. Unfortunately, I have to let you go. Maybe we can catch up again on another episode. Is there a parting message, or what would you like to tell your audience?
Sure. As I said, emotional healing is not an option. When I say that repeatedly, why? Because when we start to heal, when that individual, when you start to heal, you're healing the mother line, you're healing the daughter line, you're healing the sister line.
So when a woman heals
when a woman heals at any stage, you're healing all these three lines.
Wow, that's mind-blowing.
Yeah. So again, I can only emphasize that emotional healing is not an option, it's a necessity. Even if you think you are at your best, there would be some reminiscences that would have been in your mind, your body. Work on that. The more you work on that, you're passing on to the next generation, and even that could be grown-up adults. It's not necessarily a young kid.
Yeah. I think it impacts
everybody around you. So it is very important that you work on your emotional healing. And give that as a priority.
That's so wonderful, Indu.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's what to say, like for so long I wanted to know what is Manasvi healing, and how are you, what was your journey, and how did you get here, and what you are, how you are helping others and inspiring others.
Yeah.
I'm so inspired.
Thanks, Meena. Thank you.
So much.
It was a good discussion though. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.